here. Come on. Okay, no, this one, all right? You've got the astronaut head right here and the space helmet. They're the same distance from the camera, so we actually have a slide, I don't have it here, that we've superimposed. You can see that it is a human-size object. It does not appear to be organic, it appears to be mechanical, it appears to be a robot. Now ask yourself, if you are a culture that is able to build such stunning, awesome architecture covering so many million square miles of the moon, perhaps extending out to Mars, to what we've been looking at for years there, perhaps extending out to other places that we've examined over the last 30 or 25 years. Would not a sophisticated artificial intelligence be an invaluable adjunct to that civilization? I mean, Kurzweil and others have been talking about it. Marvin Minsky, my friend at MIT, are trying desperately to produce intelligent robots now and here. So is it not possible that someone actually succeeded when we have not gotten there yet? Next, anybody?
Richard, might you explain how the limb made it down during PDI to the...
Excellent question. Excellent question. They had radar. In fact, mission rules said if they didn't have radar, they could not land. On Apollo 12, remember, the radar didn't work, and they always asked Shepard afterwards, if the radar hadn't come up, would you have landed? And he said with a wry smile, you'll never know. The radar was used to actually find the hole so they could safely get down. And remember, the consistency of this stuff now is cigarette smoke. In fact, I'm beginning to believe that the whole mascon problem is really a problem of spacecraft running into the micron-sized particles, slowing the spacecraft down, giving the illusion that gravity on the moon has changed, so you get a concentration of mass, whereas in fact the presence of these domes over the Maria would give a synthetic illusion and would abrade the outside of the spacecraft. And I haven't done detailed numbers, but the model seems to be intriguing, and it's worthy of being followed up. So much of this has to be followed up. If you guys don't follow this up, nobody will. If the press starts looking, if we start demanding hearings, if we start demanding, go from vault to scanner. There's a project at the Lunar and Planetary Institute in conjunction with the University of Arizona, in conjunction with Johnson, now to archive and put on a website from ASU, Arizona State University, in the next 3 years, all of the Apollo film from the original data that Ken was not able to destroy. Sorry to make you the bad guy. And what is required is that someone track each frame that goes from the freezer to the scanners and make sure it's the original film. If that is done, I have no doubt that everything I've shown you this morning will be confirmed and then some. There are untold wonders waiting to be found on this film, because even on the Apollo Lunar Surface Journal, they've only scanned a handful of the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of frames that we know exist. And now that we know that there are dozens of copies of what is supposedly one frame, 4822, how much more film did they shoot that we, because of these security classifications, under law in the Space Act, have legally been prevented because of the Brookings paranoia from ever seeing? Anybody else? Yes?
That rainbow anomaly, do you have any idea how big that is?
You mean the rainbow behind Harrison Schmitt? The arcs, those no, well, they're on the order of meters. They're not big. They're maybe the size of this room. They're little pieces of glass that are obviously scattering light with reflection coming back. Like when you look at windows, if you're landing at cities at sunset or sunrise, you'll see the windows all shining because they're reflecting the sun back at you. Imagine you had glass in front of that reflection. It would then cause a prismatic refraction. See, basically, I mean, I wanted one of my friends to bring a prism here so I could actually show you with our spotlight what prisms do and what they look like. But you can experiment at home. Do this at home. I ask you, I beg you. And you'll see that what we're seeing on these photographs is absolutely physically real. And it is really the smoking gun. If I had to rest our case on one single piece of data, which turns out to be replicated again and again and again, it's the discovery of the prismatic rainbows from the glass in the domes above the moon. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for coming. I appreciate your attendance, and go forth and let people know what we could have had 40 years ago if NASA had been honest.